Hello and welcome to the Portrait Podcast. At a convening on October 25th and 26th, 2022, the Nevada Department of Education teamed with ed.Xtraordinary to launch the Portrait of a Nevada Learner. While community members from across the state attended presentations and workshops, they were also invited to sit down and be interviewed by young people from the community to share their perspective. Each week, we will drop one of these short conversations to inspire your thinking as we build a community-wide vision for who we want our young people to be. Enjoy. Good morning, Las Vegas. We are back with another interview. I have two wonderful guests with me. I am your host, Demarie.
And I am Adamari Navarez. We have our two guests.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zahn Okuda Lim, proud graduate of Valley High School here in Las Vegas, home of the Vikings.
Awesome.
Good morning, and thanks for having me here. Craig Rosen with the Desert Research Institute.
Awesome.
So, first question I got, so what do you do? Let the people know about yourself. What do you do? How's your morning going?
The morning's going great, right? We're all here together, really innovating and thinking about new opportunities and new designs for education. So here at DRI, I work in STEM education, and my whole goal for the work that I do is really to excite young people.
Amazing.
At the possibilities that STEM can provide for us. And just as our speakers was sharing today, right, we need to think about the jobs that don't exist. We need to prepare our young people to think about the future.
100%.
And so that's kind of what I get to do every day, and I love it.
I love STEM. I love STEM.
Same here. It's been a great morning, as Craig was saying, being with fellow Nevadans, especially here with students, with young people, and hearing your hopes and dreams and aspirations for what comes next, especially as we're coming into this year after COVID and thinking about what the future holds and what our state should be moving forward. For me, I'm currently a graduate student. I'm a PhD student in public policy at the Rand Graduate School at the Rand Corporation. My background and passion is in K-12 education policy. It's what I'm grateful to study now and grateful to be here with all of you today.
Thank you so much. Can we get an applause for that? That's just amazing. Thank you.
Look at that crowd. Loves us. Yes.
Thank you so much. So let's get it right. So what's something that excited you from today's conversations?
Well, part of the conversations this morning we're talking about, dreaming the schools of the future. And I'm always dreaming and scheming of what the future might look like in terms of education.
Definitely.
One of the things I think, one of the paradigm shifts that really have to happen in education is to get the word school out of our language.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Talk about it. So if I were king of the world or queen of the world, right, I would eliminate the word school and I would call them centers for innovation.
Amazing.
Right?
I love
like
that.
that.
I haven't heard that one. I love that one.
Wouldn't it be amazing, right, if you would go wake up every day and go to a center for innovation?
That's awesome.
That just sounds like tomorrow I can't hang out tonight. I gotta wake up for the Centers of Innovation.
Yeah,
I just
right.
gotta. I can't mess with you tonight. I gotta be locked in. I love that.
Right, and instead of walking into a classroom, you're walking into a laboratory, and a laboratory allows you to fail, to try again, to experiment, to innovate, to be creative.
Yes.
And that's what I believe education of the future needs to look like. And so I'm excited to be part of this conversation.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you.
That got me thinking about a Mark Twain quote, never let your schooling get in the way of your education. And something that we're all discussing here today is, for all of us who work, whether we're directly in education as educators or part of the community, what can we all do to play our part in creating that sort of system where you mentioned, I got to get to sleep because I got to go to my Centers for Innovation tomorrow.
Right.
How do you put your dreams you have that night into reality tomorrow, into that next day? And how do we have a space for that to happen for students? One thing I really want to give a shout out to all of you and all the other young people here. I'm grateful that that youth voice is represented. I think too often, especially when I was a student, these sorts of events would happen where students were, whether on purpose or not, not allowed or not included in the conversation. I'm grateful that we're all here now.
Definitely.
Right. More so bystanders of the conversation when it's technically involving them and, hearing their side, their perspective, if you will.
Right,
literally
yeah.
getting it from the people who we're trying to, at the end of the day, just make a better system for,
Definitely.
get more results from, and at the end of the day, get them jobs, because that's the ultimate goal after high school.
Right, and to have a
just-
better system, what would be some choices or things that would better our community to thrive
Absolutely. It's not only our community, right? It's communities all over the world.
everywhere?
And
all around.
communities even beyond our world, right?
Definitely.
Because we are headed to Mars, right? We're headed there, and our young people,
Slowly.
our young people in kindergarten are going to witness the very first Martian,
Right.
right? And so we need to prepare for that. We need to think about that, and it's starting a brand new civilization.
Yeah, definitely.
Why can't we need to be in this innovative mindset? We need to keep that moving forward,
100%. I
allow
agree.
for that creativity.
I agree.
Is there any, before we sign out, is there any advice that you would just give to the youth, anybody, your peers in the educational system, just anything that anybody would want to say?
Two things that I want to emphasize to anyone who's listening out there and to folks who are involved in this work. The first is having that spirit of perseverance and grit and drive, something we talked a lot about today, both as we're thinking about how to change the education system and how do we allow youth and young people to develop that curiosity and that perseverance, but also for folks who are working in the systems and working to change what education can mean, having that own self-efficacy and that sense of self-perseverance is so important. The second thing I want to emphasize is that when we're talking about what the future could look like, there's been a lot of talk about equality and equity, and I remember yesterday there was conversation around equality is giving everybody the exact same thing,
Right.
regardless of needs. Equity is thinking about what people might need. But what about justice? What are the conditions that are causing folks, and especially young people, to face challenges and barriers today? And instead of just always reacting to problems, how can we think broadly about addressing the underlying causes of the challenges and barriers that especially young people are facing? I think when we're thinking about education, we got to think about those two things: perseverance, equity, and justice, and what does that look like moving forward?
I love that.
Definitely.
It's
Couldn't have
amazing.
said it any better.
Is there any?
Closing words, huh? Well, my advice to young people, and I hope the young people are listening, is when there's a door open, walk through it, because you never know what's going to be on the other side, and never be afraid to get yourself in the middle of stuff, because it will only lead to greatness.
Definitely.
And the good greatness, right?
Right.
Certain things, doors you probably don't want to walk into, but
Right.
but when an opportunity presents itself, go for it and take advantage of it and learn and experiment and create and just be present.
You can never fail if you don't try. Thank you,
First
gentlemen,
attempt at
so
learning,
much
fail.
for being here with us. And I tell everybody, the first step is just showing up. And that's just in life. That's just half the battle, is just showing up. So we deeply, from our heart, I appreciate you for
Thank you
being
guys
here.
so much.
And I
Thank
hope
you.
to see y'all in the future. We're closing out. Y'all know the lingo. It starts here. We'll see y'all in the next one.
The Portrait Podcast was recorded and created by the young people from Choice Business Group. If you would like to join the conversation, please visit portrait.nvfutureoflearning.org. Again, that's portrait.nvfutureoflearning.org.